Hello everybody, this is my tutorial on how to lube and disassemble and assemble a LanLan 4x4. I haven't seen another video on the internet like this, and it would have been nice for before I bought this to see how this cube worked, to see what the inner structure was so I could figure out how it worked and how to take it apart. I didn't want to just pry on pieces and break it, but eventually I had to anyways because no one else had a video like this. So here it is. So here we go. Basically what I'm going to do is I made sure it's in the solid position because I think it's easier before you lube it to take pieces out, because that way you know where they go back in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this 45 degrees, take a screwdriver, pop this piece out like that. There we go. And what I prefer is I use food grade silicone as opposed to heavy duty stuff. Heavy duty stuff says on the can, do not use on plastic because it melts plastic, and I spent enough time in chemistry class to know that the solvent in heavy duty silicone melts plastic. So what I'm going to do is just spray it in here. It's pretty self-explanatory. Put the pieces in, and as you might see on LanLan 4x4s, the two edge pieces have a right and left pairing. It's kind of like your hands. They're exactly the same except for the mirror images of each other. That's the way these are. You got to make sure that these two pieces, like this, are flush and they're same colors on top. So I'm going to put one piece in first. Put the next one in so that the flush parts are in the middle. And then I turn it around, do like that. And then you're more than welcome to do it on other sides as well. What I found, since I know a little bit about chemistry, is if you get a bunch of goop on the cube, I take a little isopropyl alcohol, get a little piece of toilet paper. Well, first I'd wash my hands first because it's usually got a bunch of goop on it already. There's no point in cleaning a cube when you got goop on your hands. And that'll clean it, and it should spin nice and smooth. And work it in, and knock yourself out. And that's pretty much the end of the lubing tutorial. If you want to go further and disassemble it and lube each piece individually, that's what the next part of the video will be for. Before we get started, I'd like to explain a few things. Here's what the inner part looks like. It's a ball. It doesn't have any screws or anything. I'm assuming it's very similar to a regular Rubik's Cube. I've seen videos on those, and I don't know if they're exactly the same, but they look a lot alike. So maybe if you know how to put one of those together, you can probably figure this out. Also, if you don't have to put one of these together or take it apart, I would not recommend it. It's enough of a pain in the backside not to want to do it. I know there's a lot of kids out there who aren't, let's face it, mechanically inclined yet. Maybe in the future when you get older you can figure it out, but maybe not right now. And it's also important to know the color structure of a cube. You can probably figure it out along the way, but it's easier if you know it right away. White on bottom, blue on front, red on right, orange on left, green on back, yellow on top. And on to the next part. So here we go. We're going to start disassembling the cube. It's going to be exactly the same as just taking a couple edge pieces off. It's pretty simple, like I explained before. Disassembly should be fairly self-explanatory. It's not too hard. It's much harder putting it back together. Take the two edge pieces out, pull the corner out. Do the same on the next part. And as you go, it should become easier and easier to pull pieces apart until it kind of all falls apart on you. Like that. And these center pieces, it has a ball, internal ball structure here. It has a little notch so you can pull the piece out in the ball. And you just keep on going until it's done. Now that we have it all taken apart with all these pieces, what you probably want to do is organize them. Like find all the centers and then organize them by color. And all the edge pieces, organize those by color so that when you're trying to put it together, it's not a total pain in the ass trying to figure everything out. Trying to find all the pieces while you're trying to hold the ball together, because at the beginning it's not all locked together. It's kind of a big mess. So do that first. And I'm going to do that right now and you'll see me in the future. Okay, now here we go. I got all the pieces organized right now. And what I want to do is pick the color I usually do when I solve the cube. I want to have the color I usually have on the bottom. So it's white for most people. So now I have all the white center caps. And you might notice they're all identical. But you want to have it so that when they're all facing each other, these little tabs that stick up out of the back, like that, you want to have them so they're all touching each other. That forms a circle, like this. Okay? And then when you put them into the cube, I can't really explain how to do it. There's a little cut up so that it slides in like this. And I probably won't do this the right way right away because it takes a little bit of figuring out, because I've only done this once before. So there's one. Just get them in there first and just kind of figure them out. I don't know really exactly how to tell you how to do it. You just got to do it. And there we go. I finally did it. That's how much of a pain in the butt. I'm pretty mechanically inclined, but it took me that long to get it done. So now what I want to do is flip it upside down so that is on the bottom. And right now you can pick any color you want in the front. Like I was talking about before, I usually have blue in the front. So now I'm going to find a white and blue piece, edge piece, and I got them two here. And as you notice, these are right and left-handed pieces. They're identical, but the sticker's in a different place. That makes them right and left-handed. You want it so that when you put these two together, these two little things that rotate on the ball are touching each other, like this. And that is in the middle. So you put it up so that white is on the bottom, and blue is in the front, and go like that. Now find your corner piece, corresponding corner piece. Red would be on the right, so I want to find a white, red, and blue piece, like this. Blue's on front, red's on the right. Find the next corner piece. So that would be blue. The next blue colored piece, colored corner piece, which would be this one. No, that's not that one. There's white in it. Here we go. Orange is on the left. And keep going around the bottom until that is done. Okay, now I have the bottom layer all put together. You know you did it right if they all touch each other flush and you don't see any cracks or anything. So now I'm going to find next part, which is still blue in the front, so I'm going to start with blue. And we got these little tabs right here. These slide in. I slide them in from the top. Oops. And you want to rotate it so that the little thing like this is facing upward. So this is facing up. So now I'm going to do the next one. And there we go. Now I have the two blue center pieces in there. I'm going to rotate it a little, 180 degrees, or 90 degrees I mean. Now I'm going to find the blue orange edge piece. Oh, that's why I can find it. They're upside down. And you want it so that this little flange thing, there's two pieces, and only one's going to work. So you want to find it so that the colors match and that this thing is facing up in this first layer. And just slide it in. Now do the orange center pieces. And keep on going. Make sure that little finger tab thing is on the top. You can slide out of the way to get ready for the next one. Like that. And make sure that these pieces they're not locked together yet. They're all kind of free floating, but make sure they kind of mesh together. You can kind of see it. You won't be able to tell in the video, but there we go. Now keep going until it is all done. Okay, now I have the first two layers done. Now this is going to be exactly the same as the last layer, except for now you want these little tabs on the center pieces to be facing down in the downward position. So I put it in, make sure its face is down, rotate it. There we go. There we go. Now they're both in the down position. And you should be able to see a gap between the ball and where the pieces lock together. Now we'll find a blue-orange piece, and now it doesn't matter which one we pick because there's only one left. And these have to be facing down, otherwise the colors won't match. This will be facing down. And you keep going on the second layer, and I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Okay, now we're to the last little bit of the third layer. So now we want to put make sure we put these center pieces in first. And you never want to force anything. If you're forcing something, you're doing it wrong. These little center pieces are the hardest part of this whole puzzle. There we go. You might notice that when they're in the track, they only slide one way in. You just kind of gotta, don't fight it, and just make sure it goes in. If it's not going smooth, it's not working right. So now I have this last piece. Now we just kind of force it in, and that should lock that in place. It shouldn't have had it occurred because on the second layer, because you could just slide it in from the top, and this one you can't. Okay, now we're on the top layer, which is yellow now. And what I want to do is install these 4 center pieces right now. And make sure, like when we did at the beginning, these little finger tab things all have to be touching each other to make the circle. And I'm probably not going to do this correctly right away, but we'll see. There's 1, 2, 3. Kind of got to move them out of the way so you can install the next piece, and it's kind of a hard thing to do. Okay, now we got it. I got it all in place. Sorry about that, I got distracted with the phone call. Here we go. What I want to do is find the edge piece so remember that there's right and left-handed ones. So this little tabby thing is in the middle, and so that when they're put together, those little flange things touch each other like that. So now we got the first two edges of the last layer here. And now I'll slide in the corner piece from the side. You can't really see it. See? Go like that. So now find the yellow, orange, and blue piece. Slide it in like this. Now we'll do the orange and yellow edge pieces. And remember, there's right and left, so that these two things are touching each other. And now we'll slide the corner piece in. Green and orange from the side, like that. And now I gotta find the proper orientation of these little center pieces or edge pieces. There we go. And these will kind of be forced in. So now we're in the last corner. Make sure you put the corner in before you put the two edge pieces in. Make sure yellow's on top. Slide it in. You can rotate this 45 degrees, make this a little easier. Make sure you get the right one. This is the left piece. Slide it in there. Next one in, force it in, and we're all done. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and hopefully it turned out alright. We'll see. Have a good one, and happy cubing.